Today is the seventh regular meeting of the Board of Lake County Commissioners. Please rise and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the invocation. Dear God, please bless our meeting today. May our discussions be fruitful, our decisions wise, and our community strong. Amen.
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 Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Your mic,
Commissioner Hamercheck.
Present.
Commissioner Regovich.
Here.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Present. Now it's time for our public comment portion. Anyone who would like to address the Board of Commissioners, please step forward. You have 3 minutes after you state your name and address. Ladies first.
Thank you.
Gilda Spencer, Ford Road, Madison. Gentlemen, I saw an article about the lights on Route 2 and the safety of the people for that. I commend you for that, but gee whiz, I live on Ford Road. I am assuming that on Route 2, when you go out down 90 towards Ashtabula and that, there's no lights, so nobody's calling and complaining. So I was wondering if they have bus service, if they have police service. Do they have issues with the EMS coming? Probably not, but we do on Ford Road, and we'll be 2 years before this is fixed. And it really gets under my skin that my first meeting that I came to, one of you told me, well, this is purely political and it will end in a couple of weeks. Well, a couple of weeks stretched into months, and it is political. When you look back at all the commissioner meetings, you can see it. So my question is, we're still without a road. We're still without all these things. We still have a home out there for disabled people. We still have elderly people on our road, and we still have no bridge, and we're not open. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion? Ladies first. We'll get you.
Good morning. Thank you. Tammy Gaber, Ford Road, Madison. I just wanted to give a little update, actually. And once again, I want to thank Mr. Hamercheck for your persistent assistance in getting the financing in place to repair our open Ford and Payne roads in Eastern Lake County. I did speak with the engineer's office this past week and have been assured that the work has begun on Payne Road. And I understand, actually, that the tree cutting has started and you can actually see work in progress down there. I've been told that Ford Road is in the final plans, engineering-wise, and they're being wrapped up. The culvert's under construction, and in fact, when I spoke to engineers, they said surveyors were down there to see how they can bring a crane in and get everything set up. And we actually drove down there today, and there is equipment being placed in, and other people were down there. So progress is being made. I'm told with any luck, Ford Road will be open by fall, and definitely before the snow flies, while we continually hold our breath that there will be no emergency services required, that every day is a day closer to completion and we'll be able to breathe a little easier. Additionally, Mr. Hamercheck, I think I speak for many of the neighbors when I say thank you for leading the charge to get this as far as it is, and we appreciate all your factual and clear leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, one more. This running joke is good, though. He's a very understanding fellow.
With a good sense of humor, that's great. Okay, so I have copies that I'd like to give, okay?
You may
And one
approach
of
the
them-
clerk.
Tank house, and one of them to the prosecutor.
She'll pass them out.
Thank you. Okay. I'd like to read, if I could, please. Thank you for letting me speak before you today, and thank you for your
And
service.
if you could remind us of your name and
Okay,
address.
thank you for your service. My name is Roxanne Premont, and I live in Willoughby Hills. Okay, so I'm going to read from something, not the whole document, just the first page of it, but I'd like you to know who it's coming from. It's coming from Wall Builders, which is a pro-family legislative network. The Heartland Institute, the president, signed off on this. Several hedge fund managers, including Edward Dowd, Edward Griffin, who maybe some of you may know from the book called The Creature from Jekyll Island, several U.S. congressmen, including the Congressional Prayer Caucus Foundation members, Lieutenant Colonel Alan B. West. All right, there are a number of other names on here. I can't go through them all. All right? But just to give you a flavor for, and this is not me, okay, but I think it's very important. Questions are now being, why is it important? Because it affects our county monies, all right, deposits, and it'll be obvious. Questions are now being raised about important laws that have been added to state codes in all 50 states over the past 25 years. These laws were deliberately designed to abrogate private property rights and could in the future be used to harm every American who holds investment securities, including those held in IRA and 401k accounts. At the state level, the concerning statutes in question are contained within the Uniform Commercial Code, primarily Article 8, which deals with securities. UCC Article 8 is dense and complicated, and until very recently, very few outside the financial industry have understood the full implications of this law. This letter explains our concerns, summarizes legal aspects of the UCC Article 8, and outlines near-term options for state policymakers who want to take action to protect their constituents in their states. Here's some background for content. Over the past few years, the world's largest financial institutions, those often referred to as too big to fail, have quietly been preparing for a potential global financial crisis, which I add could be set off by a terrorist attack. Okay? I think I said something to that effect here about 6 months ago, maybe. One of the ways in which they have done this is by lobbying legislators to change the way collateral is held under state laws, to reposition banks to have priority claim over the wealth stored in investments, 401ks, and IRA accounts. The result of their effort is that Article 8 of the UCC effectively nullifies citizens' fundamental rights over their investments. You don't really own it, even though you think you do. I'm saying this, and you collect fees and can transfer the security. What does this mean for your constituents? A simple example illustrates the concern. Imagine waking up one morning and logging into your RA or 401k account to see how it is performing. To your shock and your horror, there is nothing there. Your account balance is zero. Through no actions of your own, your stocks and bonds have vanished.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Could you please finish the thought? You're out of time, but I want to let you finish the thought.
Okay. All right, I'll try to go quickly then, all right? This might sound impossible, but it could happen under current law in the event of a financial crisis. How is this possible? Last paragraph. Under existing legal and contractual agreements, if you were to call your broker today to pin in an order for about 100 shares of Apple, you might think that the resulting purchase of the 100 shares constitutes ownership, but it does not. Your broker would add the 100 shares to your account, but you would actually only own is what's called a security entitlement legally to the shares, not the shares themselves. A security entitlement is essentially a contract with your broker granting certain rights to securities such as stock. While this will surprise many people, it's clearly intentionally laid out in Article 8 of the UCC. Basically, during bankruptcy proceedings, we could lose everything. If derivative markets fails, securities are the underlying collateral for the derivatives market. And that puts every bank account, every security at risk. So I know it's a little bit much to swallow, so
Thank
I
you.
gave you a copy. All right. Thank you, sir.
Sir, you've been very patient.
That's one great thing that I learned from Bishop Merble, how to be patient. As he's been here in our beloved city for 40 years, he has been very patient. And God is the most patient of all. I'm Reverend Bahari at 185 West Jackson Street. And today, I just wanted to say Happy New Year. This is the year of the Blue Dragon. And may be a year of prosperity and really goodness and righteousness for everyone here in the county, and the prayers are with everyone. Thank you.
You are most welcome.
Was that your revenge, the microphone? I'm sorry, I had to ask. My apologies. Sorry, Mr. President.
Anyone else for public portion? Mr. Massey?
Brian Massey, 8196 Rainbow Drive, on behalf of Lobbyists for Citizens. I did provide copies of what I'm about to read for the record to the commissioners and also to the prosecutor. Question I have is, does the 20 mil floor limit on school districts outside millage violate the Ohio Constitution and the Ohio Revised Code? Article 12, Section 2 of the Ohio Constitution states, no property taxed according to value shall be so taxed in excess of 1% of its true value in money for all state and local purposes. Section 5705.02 of the Ohio Revised Code, the aggregate amount of taxes that may be levied in any taxable property in any subdivision or other taxing unit shall not in any 1 year exceed 10 mils, which is 1%, on each dollar of tax valuation of such subdivision or other taxing unit, except for taxes specifically authorized to be levied in excess thereof. Tax levies and tax reduction factors inside current expense levies, which are unvoted levies, are not subject to the tax reduction factors of HB 920. Outside current expense taxes are subject to reduction, but with a very important restriction. The law specifies that the application of the tax reduction factors of HB 920 cannot cause a school district's effective current expense millage rate, inside and outside combined, to fall below 20 mils. This is referred to as a 20 mil floor. This means that the outside millage is treated as inside millage, and the school district will realize a windfall of property taxes without a vote of the people. The state legislators, by creating the 20 mil floor, have de facto increased the maximum 10 mils inside millage, thereby violating the Ohio Constitution and Ohio Revised Code. I ask that Ohio Senator Jerry Serino, State Representative Jamie Callender, and Dan Troy protect the financial interests of the citizens of Lake County and create legislation that nullifies the 20 mil floor legislation. I also ask that the Lake County Commissioners protect the financial interests of the Lake County citizens by asking the Lake County Prosecutor to verify the appropriateness of our claims, and also to write a resolution asking our state representatives to protect the financial interests of the Lake County citizens and nullify the 20 mil floor legislation. Any tax that, if unpaid, causes a citizen to become homeless is immoral. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion? Anyone else? Then we will go to resolutions. Madam Clerk.
In the Utilities Department, resolution amending the sanitary sewage, solid waste, and water supply rules and regulations of the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash from Lake County Department of Utilities, Project Fund 596, Project 440S 2020, Mentor Wastewater Treatment Plant, VFD, to the Sewer Fund. The project is complete. Remaining cash in Project Fund is transferred to the Sewer Fund.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution certifying unpaid water and sewer sums and administrative charges to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of a U.S. EPA administrative order on consent for the Lake County Solid Waste Facility.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an Ohio EPA tolling agreement for the Lake County Solid Waste Facility.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
And Job and Family Services Department, resolution approving Lake County Department of Job and Family Services vouchers, date of warrant February 23rd, 2024, in the amount of $660,378.04.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution reappointing various individuals to the Lake Development Authority Tax Incentive Review Committee for 2-year terms ending February 21st, 2026.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
and Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of a memorandum of understanding between the Lake County Board of Commissioners, the Lake County Board of Elections, and the Ohio Secretary of State for electronic poll book reimbursements.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? None being heard, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners and the Communications Workers of America, Local 4340, expiring December 31st, 2026.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. DeMar?
Thanks, Commissioner. Real quick, I just wanted to thank and recognize the folks that are covered under this bargaining unit. There are employees in our Buildings and Grounds Department, Telecommunications, our Building Inspector's Office, and our Dog Warden. They all do great work for the county and keep us moving every day and do great work with the citizens out in the community. So excited to get this agreement done. The union voted to ratify it last night and want to thank those employees for their continued hard work on behalf of you guys.
Mr. DeMar, if I'm not mistaken, Bill Vidmar represents that union.
Yes.
We'd
correct.
also like to extend our thanks to
Absolutely.
him for working with you and
Absolutely.
getting this done. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $2,096,785.36.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $784,462.14.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution increasing and decreasing appropriations for various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash and appropriations within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes. We now move to departmental reports. Utilities.
No report today, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. Lake County Job and Family Services.
Good morning. Thank you, Commissioner. Simply wanted to provide an update that we are in the final weeks of the Medicaid unwinding across the street at Job and Family Services. So I would encourage any individuals who have not been in touch with their caseworkers at our department to please reach out to them to provide updated information. Even though the unwinding is ending in a couple of weeks, there is still a lot of work to be done from our caseworkers. So individuals can call our customer service line at 844-640-OHIO, which is 6446, They could also go online to update their information at benefits.ohio.gov. So this is just a reminder that the Medicaid unwinding is coming to a close in a few weeks, and individuals should reach out to our office to provide updated contact information.
Thank you. Our county administrator.
Good morning, commissioners. Yeah, a couple brief items. As Joel noted regarding the collective bargaining agreement, one department in particular just met with this week. Our building department continues to be extremely busy looking at their revenues and permits issued. Dave Strichko and his team are doing a great job. The past few years we've been thinking that the winter would have a traditional bit of a decline in permits, but the contracting activity in the community continues to be strong. We will see where that goes, but we know on the horizon here in the county, notably we've heard Randy talk about the Red Creek project at Casement. We have some substantial developments on the horizon. So we can't speak to what the national economy is going to do, but here locally from a construction standpoint, things to be holding fairly strong. So I wanted to point that out, that the building department, the soil and waters of the world, planning commission continues to see increased development activity in our areas of responsibility. Secondly, give an update on the proposed public safety center. We had a marathon session yesterday. It was our third Wednesday of the month with all of our designers in town, folks on the phone, continuing our value engineering efforts. We're trying to, I think I briefed this last week, we're trying to pull the building footprint, not to get into too much detail, further off of Jackson Street to, we start saving money in the dirt, quite frankly, to less excavation, less angle of repose.
Off of Jackson Street?
Excuse me, thank you, off of Erie Street. Yep, right across from the jail. We're trying to set it back a little bit further. The ability to do that is only recognized being able to tighten up some square footage requirements, or square footage in the basement, and then we can move upward in levels 1 and 2. So we continue those efforts. The chief was there with a slew of folks yesterday from his team. We had buildings and grounds, telecommunications from our team. So that effort continues. As I noted, the next estimate is scheduled in 6 to 8 weeks, which is called the 50% design development estimate. And then things will really begin to accelerate as far as potentially early procurement. We are going on a prefab steel cell methodology, and those take a while to build. Generators have up to a year lead time. So those are things that as we begin to fine-tune the budget, early lead items, procurement, labor, etc., late spring, early summer, those are some of the action items that I may be bringing to you as we continue to finalize what will be a guaranteed maximum price figure, which right now looks about like September, late September. The decision will need to be made. Does it make sense to wait for that total GMP all in, or do some of the early procurement packages, i.e. cells, generators, move dirt a little bit earlier, etc. So a ton of moving parts. This includes our partnerships with the land bank. You can see the old Chicago title, Redmond building is down. And then we also, critical path projects include the current 125 East Erie, which is the public defender space, and the old OSU extension building, which are slated to come down. Those are in the direct footprint of the proposed building. And obviously, the critical path light, I'll call it, is the Burger King building. That is ultimately going to be partially secured parking for sheriffs and public parking. But speaking with the proposed contractors, that will be ideal for lay down areas, yards, etc. during the construction process. We continue to work on some of the other structures that we've acquired to get those move-in ready for some of our agencies that we need to relocate. For example, the 41 East Erie Street parcel for some county prosecutors that are housed across the road. And then also, as we continue to work through the purchase agreement passed last week for the former Burgess and Nyepel building for our Lake County Public Defender's Office. So a lot of things moving. I will do my best to keep everyone up to speed in these weekly meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Our clerk.
Yes, the next commissioner meeting is going to be Thursday, February 22nd at 10 a.m. And also county offices will be closed President's Day, which is Monday, February 19th.
Legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you. Do we have any old business before the commission?
Yes, Mr. President.
Commissioner?
Going back to the discussion about the county radios, the most recent purchase, we acquired the Motorola APX Next radios. As you know, I've been working with the Marks team. That's the authority having jurisdiction of what radios are allowed to be used statewide and on assets that have that statewide access. I serve on the State Executive Interoperability Committee from appointment from the County Commissioners Association. And I'm asking if I could get your support, a letter of support from the Board of Commissioners to the new director of the Ohio Department of Administrative Services, Angela Canopy. The subject would be this class of radio. By way of background, not only does the radio use the traditional radio frequency based dedicated towers for public safety, it also uses cellular technology, so it bridges those gaps where there are inadequate infrastructure for public safety. The challenge with getting these radios on the air had been, I would characterize it as originally it was a perceived concern, and Motorola did open up their technology for review. All the necessary non-disclosures were made available, and now I believe it's more of an imagined concern. These radios are in service in other states without incident, and considering we have the eclipse coming right through our neck of the woods, having this equipment in service rather than radios that are at end of service life, I believe would be a direct value, especially to our Sheriff's Department. The request would be in the form of offering Lake County as a test site for these radios. A couple of the things that we're considering offering to them was isolating these radios just to our zone and further isolating them just to our county to add multiple layers. Again, if there are concerns as to the integrity of the communications equipment as far as any impacts on the system overall. But I would ask that if we could put something together. I'm also working with our telecommunications director, Paul Stefanko, and our Motorola rep to make sure we have everything in proper form and go from there. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Any other old business for the commission?
So I can count on putting a letter in the SIG file and getting some signatures?
Well, you can certainly put a letter in the SIG file for your fellow commissioners to review.
Thank you, sir.
Any other old business? Hearing none, any new business? I would just follow on our clerk's announcement that Monday is President's Day, and we are very blessed in Lake County to have the James A. Garfield National Historic Site from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It will be free and open to the public to come and celebrate James Garfield and all of our presidents. A little bird told me that former Lake County Commissioner Dale Fellows, aka George Washington, just might be there. So would certainly encourage Lake County families and families from all over the United States to celebrate President's Day with us at the President Garfield Home in Mentor. Any other new business? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes, we stand adjourned.